Hey everybody, it's Miss Erin from the Cedar Rapids Museum of Art. I'm back again for Pajama Story Time from our newest exhibition, 125 masterworks from the collection. And today I've chosen a set of works by artist Norman Rockwell. These were inspiring to me because we have an election that's just happened and it's been kind of a big deal. You probably saw some commercials or mail or other kinds of advertising for the election. So it reminded me of this set of artwork created by Norman Rockwell about the election in 1944. So in just a second, I will show you a little bit more of a close-up of these pictures behind me and give you a little bit more information. In 1944, the Saturday Evening Post sent its best artist, Norman Rockwell, to the heart of America, Cedar Rapids, to illustrate America at the Polls. Norman's famous visit here in June 1944 is the stuff of legends, and it's not surprising that a number of stories have cropped up over the years about his time here. Norman Rockwell's visit to Cedar Rapids came about through a lucky series of events. Frank Welch, president of People's Savings Bank, had an employee named Maurice Cahill who served in World War I with Earl Taylor. After the war, Earl became prominent at Curtis Publishing, which published numerous magazines, including the Saturday Evening Post. Earl came to Cedar Rapids several times to visit his friend Maurice. When Norman Rockwell was asked to create a series of paintings for both the inside and front cover of the November 4th, 1944 issue of the Saturday Evening Post, Earl suggested that Rockwell travel to Cedar Rapids, which he felt was a perfect Midwestern town. Norman Rockwell traveled to Cedar Rapids with his wife Mary, spending only a few days in the city. He paid 16 Cedar Rapidians to model for his paintings, and they all met at Cleveland Elementary School. As he usually did, Norman Rockwell hired a local photographer, in this case Wes Panic, who was recommended by the bank president's wife, to photograph several poses of these models for Norman to refer to when he painted the pictures back in his studio in Vermont. Surprisingly, though, the main figure of the painting, Junius P. Wimple, the man here in the gray suit who's in each of the paintings, was actually modeled by George Zimmer, a Vermont model Norman used often, even though E.F. Bernstorff, Cleveland Elementary School's custodian, had posed for Rockwell during his visit to Cedar Rapids. So, now that you've seen the artwork from Norman Rockwell up close, I thought I would share a story with you about another election. This one has some interesting characters in it too, only instead of people, like Norman's piece behind me, this book is full of interesting characters who are animals. This book is called Everyone Gets a Say, written by Jill Twiss and Egg Keller. It goes like this. Everyone gets a say. Here's a few of our odd characters. Pudding was a quiet snail and did not like shouting. So when he woke up to the sound of loud bellows and honks, he poked his head out of his house, which was inside of his other house. And if you can see up close, that's Pudding, who's a snail. So he lives in his house, which is a shell, and he's inside of another house, which looks like it's made out of a toadstool. And here's my favorite part. His mailbox says, snail mail, because he's a snail. Lately, it seemed like Pudding's friends couldn't agree on anything. Today, they were trying to decide what to plant in a sunny patch of land, and it was not going well. Whatever Toast the butterfly wanted, Jitterbug the chipmunk did not. Did you know that butterflies drink nectar from flowers using their tongues like a straw? Asked Toast. We should plant flowers. But, said Jitterbug. Acorns grow into trees, and trees will give us even more acorns. And whatever Duffles and Nudge the otters wanted, Geezer the goose was absolutely against. No plants, shouted Duffles. Just mud, continued Nudge. So we can slide big tummy slides into the lake, they finished together. Honk, 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 bellowed Geezer. I insist on vegetables, and I do not care to hear what anyone else has to say. The yells got louder, and the shouts got shoutier. Pudding had just begun to squish back into his shell when, did you know that bees have queens? Everyone got quiet. What? Asked Jitterbug. A queen bee is a someone who leads the bees, said Toast. Whoa, said Jitterbug. Do we need a someone to bring us together? Yes, said Nudge, a someone to be our voice. When we all have different voices, finished Duffles. Even Geezer gave a honk of approval. The friends had finally found something they all agreed on. Until... But, said Jitterbug, how do we choose that someone? Maybe the someone who's in charge, interrupted Nudge, should be the someone who is the tallest, finished Duffles. I think because he's the tallest. What if we started Pudding, but no one listened? Wait, exclaimed Jitterbug. Maybe the someone who is in charge should be the someone who is the fastest. I think because Jitterbug is probably the fastest. Huff, puff, would you just listen? I don't think Pudding is gonna be the fastest. Honk, 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 interrupted Geezer. That someone who is in charge should be the someone who is the loudest. Honk! No matter how hard he tried, Pudding couldn't get anyone to listen to him. And they're arguing back here saying, no, the twinsiest, floatiest, oldest, fluffiest. Oh no, they're still arguing, you guys. The flittiest, the busiest, the squishiest, the slipperiest, the grouchiest. Wait, splittered Jitterbug. Where's Pudding? The friends looked everywhere they could think of. He's not in his house. He's not underwater. Seems a silly place for a snail to be anyway. They looked inside of a tree trunk, it looks like, and even drew pictures to see if they could find him. Doesn't look like anybody's seen him. Then they heard a tiny squish. Look, shouted Jitterbug. What does that mean? I don't know if you can tell, but it looks like Pudding used his snail ooze from when he walks around to write on this rock, everyone gets a say. That means you say who you want to be in charge, said Pudding. Then I say who I want to be in charge, and Duffels and Nudge and Geezer and Toast say who they want to be in charge. Whoa, said Jitterbug. That's a lot of saying. And after everyone gets their say, we count. And whichever someone the most of us want to be in charge is in charge, said Pudding. So it sounds like they're having an election. Honk, honk, honk! What about the loudest someone? Squawked Geezer, even louder than usual. But Pudding wasn't finished. When everyone gets a say, the very quietest someone gets the same say as the very loudest someone. The very tiniest someone gets the same say as the very biggest. Pudding stretched up a little taller as he realized that everyone was listening to him now. It's called voting, said Pudding. Voting is how you have a say, even when no one will listen to you. We think it's, started Duffels. A great idea, finished Nudge. Honk, 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 said Geezer. Let's all have our say. They look like they're pretty happy about this. And they did. They made a big sign that says, have your say, and then an arrow down here. It looks like they're voting with acorns, and they get stickers that said, I said. Kind of like now, when we go vote in an election, we get a sticker that says, I voted. We believe in having our say, began Nudge, is of uttermost importance, finished Duffels. Honk, honk, vote, said Geezer. And look, there's their ballot where they get to pick who they want. There's some signs that say, one someone, one acorn, and they get to vote with their acorns. And this sign says, I'm with fur, which means they're voting for the person who has the fur instead of maybe feathers. Hello, hello, hello. I have a very important announcement to make, said Jitterbug. The friends of the forest have all had their say, and the someone who shall be in charge is... Who might it be? Do you have a guess? Who won the election? Pudding the Snail! Pudding was very surprised. He squished forward and spoke quietly. This time, everyone was listening. Fellow someones, I promise to listen to every single one of your voices, because it doesn't matter if you're the tallest or the shortest or the squishiest or the fluffiest or even the quietest. In our forest, every someone gets a say. So I hope you enjoyed our story for today's pajama story time. Come back again in a couple of weeks for our next one. And in the meantime, if you'd like to come in and visit us here at the Cedar Rapids Museum of Art, we are open as long as you put your mask on before you get here. We are happy to see you here in the galleries. So come by and say hello and check out these cool works of art and a lot of other pieces in our 125 collection on display right now through the end of January. So please come check us out. Thanks again for joining us. We'll see you next time. Bye, guys.